they came for dinner, only to find they were it. If you didn't guess it from the tagline, today we're taking a look at Microwave Massacre. Directed by Wayne Berwick and starring Frosty the Snowman himself, Jackie Vernon. Filmed in 1979 but released in August of 1983. The director originally wanted Rodney Dangerfield for the lead role, but he wanted way too much money. You can tell from the dialogue that they really wanted Dangerfield. They eventually went with Jackie Vernon, a stand-up comedian known as the King of Deadpan, who was famous for his sarcastic and deadpan humor. His style of humor was falling out at the time, so it's kind of odd the director decided to go in that direction, but let's take a look at the film and see if it still holds up today. Spoiler alert, it didn't even hold up back then. We start the film with a close-up of a woman's chest and ass because, well, it's the 80s. This opening scene brings nothing to the story. It's just there to introduce the construction workers and get their quota of tits for the movie, which must have been a lot because this film is filled with a bunch of 80s style nudity. Not really sure what their plan was, even if they got there in time. We're introduced to Donald, who can't seem to catch a break during his lunch. His wife May keeps cooking these over-the-top gourmet lunches for him when all he wants is just a bologna and cheese sandwich. Even when he comes home at night, he still gets these atrocious meals. Coming home drunk the next night, May has another disgusting meal prepared for him. They get into an argument and he beats her to death with a salt shaker. He wakes up the next morning with no memory of what happened. He discovers May's corpse in the microwave. Initially struck with horror, he then breaks the fourth wall and comes to terms with it, even going to work and telling everybody that they split up. After work, he cuts up Mary's body and puts it in the fridge. Looking for a midnight snack, he accidentally grabs and takes a few bites out of May's hand. He discovers this is some of the best stuff he's ever eaten. He even begins sharing it with his co-workers. After a night out at the bar, Donald takes home DDD. That's her name. Her mom wanted to name her Deela, but she had a stutter. Yeah, how they didn't win an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay is the real horror here. I'm pretty sure they named her DDD just so they can make this joke.
Oh. Hey, have you ever screwed in 3D?
Let's move on. He screws her, then smothers her with the weakest hold and smallest pillow available. Then he picks up another woman dressed in a chicken suit. Fuck, kill, chop, and repeat. Donald sees a psychiatrist, and he tells him how he gets turned on by thinking about eating his women after sex. The good doctor encourages this, obviously mistaking what he means by eating women. Let's just say the doctor thought he was a cunning linguist in his choice of words. Later that night while cooking, Donald has a small heart attack. He also notices May's head turning up in various and different places. May's sister Evelyn shows up, not hearing from May in a few days, and demands to see her sister. Evelyn discovers May's severed head, and Donald gags her with a loaf of bread and ties her and confines her to the closet. Donald goes to the doctor, and we find out he has a pacemaker. For the younger audience who may not know, back in the 80s, microwaves and pacemakers were like Pop Rocks and Coke. If you're still too young to catch that reference, it's kind of like Tide Pods and TikTok. Donald continues his murder and cooking of girls and keeps getting praise from his co-workers on the lunches he brings them. Donald teases a new recipe for a dish called Peking Chick. When his co-workers stop to pick him up for a wrestling match, they find him dead on the floor from a heart attack and find the body parts in the microwave. They are horrified when they finally piece together what it is that Donald has been serving them. This movie just screams 80s. Over-the-top characters, gratuitous nudity, with lighthearted sexual assaults. My biggest complaint about this movie is not the bad acting, it's not even the fact they couldn't decide if this movie was supposed to be a comedy or a horror movie. It's that a movie called Microwave Massacre should have more massacres in a microwave. The microwave doesn't even play a big part in the story. I really wish they could have just ponied up the cash for Rodney Dangerfield. This could have gone from a barely watchable to a potential classic. The film is just 75 minutes of one-liners with Jackie Vernon sounding like a profane Frosty the Snowman. Well, onto the positive. This film is so bad you just can't help but watch it. Yeah, that's a positive. It's not so bad it's good, it's more like watching a car wreck. Even the sight gags are so bad you can't help but laugh. It does have a big enough fan base that Arrow Films gave it a special edition Blu-ray release, but what do I know? I still think it's worthy of at least one watch through though, so check it out.